Hello, I'm David Kenny, Mr. Awesome X300 as well. Today I'm going to be finishing up talking to you about Caelid. Now, as you know, it's not a good place to be in Elden Ring. Do you know why? Yes, that's right. It's because it's rotten, filled with scarlet rot. Soulsborne veterans better know it as toxic. But they're the same thing, except rot's actually got lore. I'll deal with that in a future video. But first, before we get to that, I'd like to talk to you about a magical place in Caelid that is surrounding rot. That is Celia, the town of sorcery. But before I get to that town, I'd like to talk to you about one little piece of ruins that we forgot to mention last week. And that is none other than the Caelid Waypoint Ruins. Ruins filled with rotten enemies next to a swamp. And I'm not talking about Aona. I'm talking about a swamp that houses one of the mini dungeons. Anyway, there are kindred of rot. There are also servants of rot. The former can spew out their own sticky threads that are tricky to dodge, and the latter spews out poison incantations, like poison mist. Anyway, once you get down to the bottom, you will arrive at the meteoric ore blade. It's made from meteors, and it deals magic and both gravity damage as well. That's right. That's what Radon's specialty is. Now it is time to talk to you about that magical town, Celia. There are sorcerers here. They're invisible. Yes, all invisible sorcerers here, which means sometimes they aren't there. Like the sorcerers of Rea Lucaria. That's what they're mostly consisting of. But before I get to there, a sage by the name of Gowry has a weird request for you. And it'll involve a young girl that I'll talk about later on in this video. But she might have like a relationship with him. I don't know. But the point is, she wants her rot rid of. Anyway, on to the town of sorcery and the invisible walls. Yes, that's right. Oh, and get to but to get to her and the place over there, you must light 3 fires in the town of Celia. They are at the top of some buildings. Some of them are hard to get to and require tricky platforming. That's right. But this is the easy town. As we probably know, or may not know, there's another town coming around in the endgame that's much harder. Anyway, on to the loot. But before we get to the loot, though, he's also a merchant, Gowry is, and sells a wide variety of sorceries, like Night Maiden's Mist. It comes from Necron. It damages everything that isn't walls or objects. Yep, that's right. Anything that moves is fair game, even projectiles. And another sorcerer that he sells is pest threads. Those sticky threads that I mentioned earlier about the kindred of rot. You can do them too. You can hone them on your enemies. Heard it's very versatile and very, very, powerful. And then the DLC, there's an even more powerful version too. Anyway, now to Celia's loot. Starting with Night Comet, a Celian sorcery that allows you to cast a tiny, partially invisible comet. That's right. They may see it and they may not. Or they can see it and then they cannot after a second. The point is, you'll never know where it is until you see it. Next, a scarab at the top of a tree in Celia can be eliminated to grant you this Asha War known as Double Slash. Self-explanatory, really. It allows you to perform 2 slashes at once, like this. That's only available for actual swords. I don't know about great swords or colossal swords like the Zweihander or the gut sword. I don't know about them. Anyway, now at the shore of the Aeonian swamp, right at Celia, are the rotten stray ashes. A dog filled with rotten teeth that can bite enemies to spew rot. Yes, that's right. You can have your own toxic dog with you. But anyway, on top of one of the buildings, and on a balcony, is the Staff of Loss, aka it buffs invisible sorceries, or should I say, Celian sorceries. But who knows? What other invisible sorceries await? Who knows? It is your pick. Now then, on to now that the loot's done, we can head up at once you light the three fires, you can go upward above Celia, where those who live in death and as well as magical boulders try to stop you. In it is a Church of the Plague. It's guarded by Kinder to Rot and houses a little young woman with a missing arm. Ready to hear her name? It's Millie. Actually, that's what I call her. Her real name is Millicent. She is a devout follower of Melania, the Blade of Michaela, and she needs her help in curing the rot she was born with. And that will involve defeating O'Neill at Iona, because he not only does he drop his flag, he also drops the Aloyan Gold Needle. And also, for part 2, the actual arm is at the Shady Castle in Altus Plateau, but that's a mini dungeon, and I'll be dealing with that in the mini dungeon video. Anyway, now onward after the plague, you come across some chanting winged dames and some bats at the bell, and then after a little while of that, you come across demi-humans that can throw fire pots. After that comes a door with more invisible sorcerers, and at last you reach the end of the road at the Swamp Lookout Tower. It overlooks the Aeonian swamp, and it also has a bloodhound knight, a fast, agile foe. Unfortunately, it responds. However, in the tower lies another Celian sorcery called Eternal Darkness. It draws in any projectiles, whether it would be sorceries, arrows, or any other enemy attack. Now then, I have something to say. Don't go to Caelid, even with that Dragon Burnt Ruins trap that you may or may not have activated. If so, please leave immediately. I hope you do. Anyway, next I'll be talking about Dragon Barrow, no, aka Northern Caelid, but that's on a completely different scaling. It's endgame level stuff. Until then, please like and subscribe and click the notification bell as to when I will be uploading next. Until then, bye!